And welcome to the program. My name is Tamara Rosevan. Canada has been one of Ukraine's strongest supporters. The landmark free trade agreement between the two countries came into force in August 2017. It opened up 99% of the Canadian goods markets for Ukraine exporters. And this January, TIU Canada became the first major investment under the free trade pact. The renewable energy company has opened its first solar plant in Ukraine in Dnipro. The company plans to build other solar plants in southern Ukraine. Here to tell us more about how the solar power plant will revolutionize Ukraine's renewable market is Michael Yurkovich, the president of Refraction Asset Management, which is the parent company of TIU Canada. Welcome.
Thank you.
So first of all, just tell us how much planning actually went into building this massive solar plant and why you chose to invest in Ukraine in the first place.
Sure. So Ukraine has top-tier solar power economics, some of the best radiation conditions in Ukraine. It took us about 2 months to do the due diligence on the acquisition and engineering, and it took us about 4 months to do the construction and preparation of the site and the actual development of the panel installation.
And so why did you decide to invest in Ukraine?
Sure. For us, it's great economics. Some of the best economics in the world for renewable power are in Ukraine now. In addition, because of the Canada-Ukraine Free Trade Agreement and the quality of labor in Ukraine, it seemed like a great idea to create good value for our shareholders.
And how lucrative do you think the renewable energy market is here in Ukraine?
Sure. So for us, the economics are top of the world. More importantly, the opportunity capture to build a power pool and to interact with great industrial customers and great communities has been a great growth experience for us. We see a lot of potential for the Ukrainian economy, and we see a lot of potential for growing the depth of the power pool in Ukraine to attract good institutional clients.
Right. Now, the power plant the solar panels in Dnipro, your company, they opened in January, which is in winter. And when do you plan to start kind of showing results from this venture to the Ukrainian government and to attract other investors as well who are looking to invest in the renewable market here?
Yeah, sure. So it started producing power on January, and so it's currently free-flowing electricity. We're probably going to get the first payment in March because it's a 3-month rolling window. In terms of our expansion plans, we're planning on our next campaign, probably breaking ground sometime in the first half of 2018 here. We're planning to market the success by way of the press releases to institutional investors starting this week. We feel that it's a very good example on the quality of craftsmanship, the ability for Ukrainian business to deliver on time, on budget, to spec. And we're really proud of both Ukrainian EPCs that we used as well as the Ukrainian people in sort of building a world-class project that we can market to global investors as why Ukraine matters and why Ukraine is worth considering as an investment destination.
And why do you think that Ukraine is worth considering an investment destination, in your personal opinion, and from your experience, working in this field for however long you've been in it?
Sure. So for us, the big economics are the quality of labor and the quality of craftsmanship. Ukraine has a very educated workforce. They're very savvy. They're very technologically literate. The electrical engineering is on par with anything we can find in North America.
So compared to Canada, how would you kind of evaluate that?
Well, we took a very standard plant design that we would normally deploy into Canada or into the United States, and we just did an exact copy of it using standard EPC design work and draftsmanship, and we put it in Ukraine. And it clearly came in on time and on budget. So the labor quality, the build quality, the materials were all found in Ukraine, just as if they would have been found in Calgary or in California.
Have you had any support from the municipal government, the federal government here in Ukraine in terms of this huge kind of project for renewable energy?
Absolutely. The government of Dnipro was very excited we had came. We were the first foreign investment in 50 years, and we were one of the larger investments in the last year.
That is a huge span of time that nobody even thought about investing in Dnipro. Were you worried?
No, actually, we were pretty excited. There's a lot of countries where energy frontier markets sort of take a leading role in impact investing, corporate social responsibility, and community development. And so we were really excited to be a part of the Dnipro community. The Faro Alloy plant, the local mayoral government, the state government were very hospitable. They were very motivated to have a good case study that can be marketable to the world economy. And so we have nothing but high praise for everybody that helped us get through it in an honest and transparent manner.
Wow, and the bureaucracy that you had to go through, a lot of investment companies, usually that's one of the first things on their list when they look at kind of the negative sides of investing in Ukraine.
Yeah.
From your experience, what can you tell us about that?
Honestly, we had no problems. We didn't have any problems with bribes, collusion, extortion. Everyone was transparent and accountable. Everything was disclosed on recorded record. So we were really impressed. And the community, governor, all the way down to the mayor, the president and the prime ministerial administration were all very supportive of us as a market entrant, as a Canadian fund, as a family office. People were very excited, and we're grateful to everybody that helped us to get to this point.
Now, tell us about your kind of future plans in terms of solar panel, these factories in Ukraine. You plan to build a couple of them, from what I understand.
Yeah, we're planning to do campaigns starting off this year, so we're probably going to build about 2 or 3 more in the first half of 18, and then we're probably going to build 2 more in the back half of 18, and then we'll see where we're at with respect to the renewable market, and we can scale those plans based upon institutional demand. And we're probably going to determine what 2019 looks like after we do our 2018 capital program.
And what's your opinion? What's the demand now in Ukraine for renewable energy sources?
Sure. So for institutional investors, they're looking for greenfield projects like ours, sustainable cash flows. A lot of pension plans are interested in having projects like this. Renewable projects are a big thing for global portfolio allocations. In addition, we've seen a lot of domestic interest, a lot of manufacturing companies, a lot of the construction companies, a lot of the metal companies need stable power pools that can rapidly scale. And so renewables and responsible renewable cogeneration is a great character that can help fill that need. And by having a deep power pool, that allows manufacturing companies to consider building plants in Ukraine. And that makes great jobs for Ukrainians. And making the economy better is, something that we can get behind.
So it's something that the local businesses will also be invested in potentially. These renewable energy sources, which can provide energy for them to power their plants. Now, some statistics say that Ukraine plans to produce 11% of its energy from renewable sources by 2020. Now, do you think that's a realistic target, considering your work in the renewable energy sector and what you've kind of analyzed from the data here in Ukraine?
Yeah, ultimately it depends upon the institutional demand. We're starting to see a lot of companies come in with institutional sized projects. There was 2 350 megawatt projects announced in Dnipro. We've seen 500 megawatt projects going down in Odessa. So if you look at that type of investment grade, that's usually a leading indicator for the larger accounts and the larger tickets that they're seriously considering Ukraine. And so, if you look at 2014, 2015, no projects were done. There's about 150 to 140 megawatts built over 2015, 2016. Mm-hmm. There's about another 250 behind pipe going into 17, 18. So, we're seeing a material uptick. And that's very significant for the world renewable market to see this type of magnitude of increase. So if Ukraine continues to support the renewables industry, we could see some very large institutional orders come through, and that's going to make some great jobs and a lot of great returns for the local Ukraine taxpayers as well as for the local Ukrainian businesses.
I see. Now, what are your plans in terms of next investments potentially in Eastern Europe or other parts of, you know?
Well, for us, we're really focused on energy. So for us, we like the renewable sector. It's an evergreen project. For us, the ability to work with land that does not have necessarily natural resources attached to it, but can help make jobs in the local economies, can help create good returns for shareholders. That's what we're focused on right now. We're interested to see what other sectors are in the energy sector, but for right now, our shareholders have told us they really want to focus on renewables, and we'll see where the economy takes us in the next 5 years.
Thank you so much for joining me. We look forward to more of your projects coming up.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
So that's been Michael Yurkovich, the president of Refraction Asset Management, which is linked to TIU Canada. You're watching UATV.